Welcome to High.
Hey everyone, welcome to our 5 day challenge. This is your host, Paulson Thomas. I'm excited to get day 4 started. Man, this whole week's been going by so fast. We are here in Las Vegas at the Traffic and Conversions Conference Summit. So if you're around, come by, stop by, say hello. Um, Please don't mind my nasally voice. I'm a little under the weather as we're traveling quite a bit for business. But I'm excited to get this going because I do believe it's going to be really valuable. Let me check my streaming here. So if you're on, let me move my, let's see, phone here so I can see everybody's comments. Yeah. Tell us what city you're checking in from. I see a few new names that are registered and signed up for the 5 day challenge. And if you are brand new to the 5 day challenge, I would love to know as well where you're based out of and what kind of business you run. We really love interacting with a lot of our customers and saying hello and working with them side by side. I see a few comments. Let's see. Yeah, tell us what city you are checking in from. I see a few people already on our Facebook streaming. Hey, Nathan, welcome in, Nathan Jones. I see a few more comments. Let me just go ahead and refresh my screen. Our whole point today is going to be talking about the sales component of launching. And I said this often over the last 3 days. Your launch strategy is going to be different than your scale strategy. So I really want to focus on that as really our main topic of what to do when versus strategy, because I've already shared a ton of the strategies of how to go to market. Let me go ahead and record this to my computer. Thank you, Ethan, by the way, for joining and helping me field a lot of the comments in our community. He's kind of our him and Jordan and that entire team. They do a phenomenal job fielding, and we appreciate them. So I just wanted to express my gratitude as well. So yeah, Eduardo, welcome back from Delaware. Ruben, Liam, Jose, Susan, Tim Blank. Okay, cool. So here's what we're gonna do real quick before we go any further. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and just go over a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Okay. I am I'm so sorry about my nasally voice. I can't even stand it right now, but just feel a little congested, so bear with me. Appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, cool. So, welcome to the 5 day challenge. Today's day 4. This whole cohort, this whole class that we're doing this week, I switched up the format compared to what we normally do. What we normally do is essentially segregate each day by day to a new theme. So day 1 is usually offers, day 2 is usually technology, and day 3 is around marketing, day 4 is around sales, and day 5 is around client fulfillment. So if you go into our private Facebook group, you'll be able to see the theme-based calls. This particular cohort, what I did was I told everybody, hey, make sure you show up Monday because on Monday, what I'm going to do is go through day 1 through 5's content. I'm going to just jam pack all of it at once. So that way, you don't have to wait for 5 days to get started. You don't have to wait on me for any reason. And the Q&As that we're basically doing each day after that are optional for you to join and, partake in the community and say hello, build some accountability partnership and really figure out what is the launch, the plan for the launch. Okay. So real quick, we're getting a lot of questions around this and a ton of people signing up, by the way. And I just want to invite you to this. We're really not a salesy company, like we don't even have a sales team, but we truly believe in the product that we deliver to our customer base. So if you want to jump into a 30-day trial for any high level account, you can do that by going to gohighlevel.com/5 dash day dash challenge dash offer. And In case if you need to talk to someone, you can always go to our success room or our kickoff room, talk to somebody on our trial team as well. And but regardless, you can reach out and get help, especially if you feel like you want some help getting set up. So take advantage of this offer. We don't do this that often. Usually you do a 14-day trial or no trial at all. But for the 5-day challenge, if you have signed up and registered, I want to just invite you to jump into a 30-day trial, especially if you're brand new out there and been on the fence about high level, which we totally get. It's such a massive platform, and you have a lot of cool opportunities to utilize it for. Okay. Now, with the 5-day challenge course, you get all these collaterals, the top two, that top three actually, that are really popular is this agency snapshot as well as the client fulfillment snapshot, and then our marketing prospecting funnel, which is a landing page that you can go out to the market and get started. Okay, real quick. In addition, just to summarize the things we talked about last 3 days, we're leading with one offer. So this is the business model here. We're leading with, let me go ahead and share. Let me go ahead and see my screen in a better way. 1 second here. Okay, great. We talk about this. We have the gateway offer, the core offer, expansion offer, and downsell offer. And if you pay attention to a company like Starbucks, a lot of their offers are seasonal, and summertime they have a bunch of summer drinks. Wintertime they have ton of winter drinks. And the big takeaway you should all have is that your gateway offer could change. It's very dynamic. Even companies like Nike, if you look at any company out there, even some of the coaches and consultants that are in our world, you can see how they come out with new feature, new offers all the time. They have a new book, they have a new webinar, they have a new course, they have a new event. Everything is very dynamic. And I think that's the way you should look at it. So as much as I love Miss Call Text Back and I'm teaching this to just help you get started, don't get married to it. You must have multiple gateway offers, but your core offers should be very stable. All customers should go through the same exact fulfillment nonstop. So then you have the Henry Ford McDonald's assembly line. So then your fulfillment doesn't get out of whack. Otherwise, you're going to be finding yourself doing a ton of custom jobs with automations behind it, and you're going to have to fulfill a ton of things that you promised, which it's not fun. So I recommend you go down the lane of understanding what are the core offers that make sense for you, and then have dynamic, gateway offers that attract people with things like Missed Call Text Back. Maybe you want to lead with reviews, maybe other things like conversational AI if you're advanced, um, landing pages if you're in other countries where SMS regulations and phone calls and missed call text backs are not that easy. You can do things like team calendars, web chats. But either way, you guys are all marketers and gals. Like you need to get creative with your offers. I'm just providing a couple of inspiration here to help you get started. Okay. So either way, this is the business model for launching your SaaS. Everybody in the chat, please type in launch strategy, which is going to be different than your scale strategy. Okay. Your launch strategy, let me see who's interacting here. I always love seeing, the folks that are in the front of the classroom. I want to know who's really excited about launching their business and they're serious about entrepreneurship. Let's see. We got Ryan, Mark, Tim, Sylvester, Karen, Eduardo, Jose. Yeah. Thanks for interacting, you guys and gals. Launch strategy. So what does that mean? So I've seen a lot of people make this mistake of, okay, Paulson, I get SaaS, I get all this stuff. Can I just jump right in and go all the way to 100K a month? Can I get to 100 accounts a month? Can I get to a world of just scaling? And I'm gonna say this reluctantly, reluctantly, you're not going to go past a certain threshold. Okay. as you launch, especially when you're going local, and especially we're recommending that you don't niche down. I don't think you should niche down at all when it comes to the SaaS offers and things like that. So pay attention to that. Excuse me. Excuse me. Just a little runny nose here. Someone said you can't hear me. Did I accidentally? How about now? Does that sound good? Okay, cool. Awesome. I'll speak up, and also I just double checked my audio settings. Looks like it was low because I had just done. Okay. No volume? How about now? I don't understand why this is happening. You guys hear me? I don't know if it's me or not, or if I'm doing something. Sorry, I apologize. Let me just double check here. It looks like it's working. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna double check my settings one more time. Yeah, it looks like it's working on my side. Okay, people are saying you can hear me. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise. Okay, awesome. Cool. Looks like we're good to go. So your launch strategy is going to be different than your scale strategy. That threshold that I think um Liam says it's working now. Okay, we're good now. John says, okay, cool. Thank you all. So that scale strategy, that threshold that I think about is always 25 customers. As soon as you get to 25 customers, I think you'll feel pressures of fulfillment, you'll feel pressure of onboarding, you'll feel the pressure of sales. And I think that's where you decide to go pick a lane, right? So until you're at 25 customers, I recommend that you don't niche down, you go local and you start working with anybody and everybody that you want to try working with. So all the way up until 25 customers, that threshold, you're in beta, in my opinion. Okay. And the good thing is we're getting paid to be in beta and getting paid to be launching the business, which is really cool because, it's not easy to get to 25 customers in the most, in most digital landscapes in marketing. And let's see, still working. Okay, cool. Yeah, so lost my thought here for a second. Let me get that back. Coming back, reloading. All right, cool. The 25 customer mark, you'll feel pressures of fulfillment and all of those, things that you are not going to enjoy when it comes to business. So at that point, out of the 25 customers you have, you want to pick a lane, right? You want to kind of start, you want maybe have two or three different verticals in a certain industry, but let's say, for example, you choose real estate. At that point, you need to decide which two different types of real estate people are you going to work with. Maybe if you're doing restaurants, decide what two types of restaurants you are going to work with. If you are doing medical, don't pick more than two lanes. So maybe do med spa and plastic surgery, right? If you're doing things like dental, maybe do orthodontics and um, natural functional dentistry. There's multiple different lanes that you will find within an industry, and that's where I think you pick a lane as you get past that 25 client mark. Because by the time you have 25 customers, guess what? You have an offer that makes sense. 25 people have said yes to you. So the offer is making sense to the market. Your price points are making sense. Your fulfillments, the whole experience is starting to make sense. So those are the things that I think you should pay attention to. So all the way, that's your launch strategy. Then your scale strategy is past the 25 mark, all the way up until, in my opinion, you could even go up to 500 plus customers doing the same thing and really doing the blocking and tackling of what it takes to scale. So at the 25 client mark, you're well into the revenue and you're going to start investing into ads left and right, invest into affiliate marketing. You're going to invest into strategies like PR, speaking on stages, sponsoring events. I mean, you're going all out, buck wild on omnipresent marketing. And that's the way you start creating the buzz and the noise around your brand. Okay. So give me an idea real quick on the type of industries that you're thinking. And instead of just saying one industry, I would like for all of you to tell me the two lanes within an industry that you're talking about. If you don't know at least two lanes in an industry, you haven't done enough research in an industry just yet. And when we say industry, we're talking about niching down. And this is for you after that 25 client mark. Okay, so let me see some comments here before we start Q&A for sales. Okay, I'm seeing that here. Let me see. Donald says plastic surgery. Perfect. What are some of the industries that you're thinking about that complement each other? So the key is that they need to complement each other so you don't have to build two different brands, right? It doesn't make sense to build two different brands at the same time. So when you pick real estate, you need to have, let's say, multifamily investors and short-term rental operators, right? So like you need to think through two or three lanes max, and that's what you're going to focus on as you scale. Okay. So give me two sub niches essentially that complement each other is what I'm saying. Okay. So let me see some of the comments that are coming in. I want to know what industries that you are focused on, and let's just kind of dissect this real quick, and then we'll sales component. Yeah, see that? So I see Shasta saying pest control and landscaping. See, those make sense, right? Edgar says industry is going to be videography, but his lanes are going to be wedding videographers and content creators, right? Ruben says realtors and roofers. So that's interesting, right? Because those are two different industries, in my opinion, even though it's in the home services world. You could even sub-niche that down further. Let's see. Sherry says home improvement, flooring, right? Flooring and kitchen re and bath remodels. That's a perfect combination. That's a perfect analogy right there. Sherry, I see home improvement. You have flooring, which similar type of people that do kitchen and bath remodeling, right? Okay, let's see. Bonnie says chiropractic and dental. Yeah, see, those don't complement each other. They are two different businesses, two different industries altogether, in my opinion. Of course, they're in the big umbrella of healthcare, but something like chiropractors, the best way you want to look at it is like a lot of chiropractors go in and become stem cell folks, right? So you want to pay attention to how does a chiropractor move into a certain industry after their normal tenure, right? So someone says, still deciding, yeah, this is all cool and dandy, but I want you to all think about your scale strategy. And you don't need to make that decision until you're past the 25 client mark, which is my whole point. So no need to niche down or worry about that entire problem for scaling all the way until you're ready to scale. Like my big lesson in business that I always share is don't solve tomorrow's problems today, right? Because a lot of people overbuild and overplan and over execute, and they get to that stage when they feel like they have to do something. And um, when they get there, the stages of their business look totally different, right? So when you get to the 10K mark, which is the coveted milestone in a lot of the agency spaces, what you do in the 10K monthly mark is totally different than 25K and 100K. And what gets you there is not the same thing. So, like all the SOPs, the sales strategies, and all these things that you have built out, it's not going to carry over into the next chapter of scaling. It's just only applicable to a certain wheelhouse. So, without any further ado, I explained and recapped last 3 days worth of content. I want to just share and remind everyone real quick some notes about sales, and we're gonna do a quick Q&A around it today. And today is sales Q&A. And I just want to remind everyone of this particular slide, right? So when it comes to sales, I don't know if you remember, right? We divide up the sales conversations and the sales journey into four different phases. The four phases are story, numbers, conditions, and decisions. So the way you want to go about it is help them you want to memorize this as a framework so you don't have to have a script for sales, right? I'm not a big fan of scripts at all. I believe in frameworks, and this is something I've built over the years as I've built my agencies in the past. So the way I go about this is, like I said, in my mind, I remember these phases. So in a conversational interaction, whether I'm shaking hands in person, speaking on stage, or doing Facebook ads, or just doing a over the phone sale or Zoom, I stay in the same exact chronological order. This is a chronological order to keep you organized because you want to be able to provide a good sales experience, right? It's okay. If your prospects say no, that's okay. But in reality, the biggest thing you need to focus on is what is the sales experience, right? We all talk about customer onboarding experience. We talk about customer service experience, but no one talks about the sales process experience because typically in the world of marketing, sales is not as advanced. You don't see sales. I personally don't see sales as a very complex system. Everybody just runs ads, drops it to a calendar, appointment center calls back, and closer calls back, or inbound calls, or whatever. It's a very simple system that most agencies run in today's world. But if you look at corporate companies, look at Fortune 500s and these really big companies, they pay attention to the sales process. And here, I want you to pay attention to that as well and start recording your calls, start making notes of how somebody was closed. Like whenever people say no to you, start mapping out how you got to the no. Go through and dissect what are the things that you said? How did you say it? When did you say it? What were the objections? How did you reply to the objections? And I think those are the biggest takeaways I can tell you when it comes to sales is pay attention to how you're presenting. And in sales, it's a transfer of energy, right? Whatever energy you have is what you're transferring, right? And whether it's exciting or, if you lack confidence about your fulfillment, it'll all show. And when it comes to AI, I think that's the one piece that it doesn't have. It's the emotionality of what a human being could do and how a human being could read each other. So, real quick, going through these phases, story is where you get to know what their story is and you exchange your stories. When it comes to numbers, you lead with questions around volume that helps you transition into revenue oriented questions. Phase number three is where you make sure there's a good market product fit and make sure your offer makes sense. You don't want to say yes just because they say yes. You want to make sure what you bring to the table applies to their business and delivers fruits of that labor. Phase number four is the decision phase where you understand and figure out how they normally make a decision, and therefore you align and match with the way they make a decision. Okay. So let's do this. Let's do a Q&A. So we have about 30 minutes left here. I just wanted to do a quick recap and let's see. So let's do a Q&A here. And what I want to do is go through and look at the comments. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to pay attention to the page, the public Facebook page, and see the comments there. And let me just double check restreaming and see if there's any comments coming in from anywhere else. Okay, awesome. All right, so we are, go back to my Zoom here. Okay, cool. So I want you to put down your questions around sales, okay? Sales questions. And I want to go through, take 15 minutes and just really answer as many sales questions as I possibly can. And remember, when it comes to volume, okay, the golden mark that I want you to all focus on when it comes to the initial volume as you start out is 100 qualified phone calls or interactions. And then from there, you can make changes. So don't make it too many changes as you get started and you start measuring good results. Okay. Okay. I see the first question here. Let's see. I'm looking at the comments, you guys. If you want to put down your questions, let me go ahead and get started there. Okay, Liam says, those are Ricky numbers. I just got started on eighth try. Let's see. Okay. Someone says, how do I access the course and where do I find the Facebook group? Okay, cool. So if you want to access the course, log in to High Level on the left-sided menu under Agency Admin View. You can go to the university and click on University, and you'll see the courses that's available to you. And 5 Day Challenge will be one of them. And when you go inside the 5 Day Challenge, go under the collaterals and you'll find the link for the Facebook group. Within the Facebook group, you have 30 days worth of access. Okay. And after that, you get moved to our regular community. And, if you need extensions and things like that, we can make it happen. But the idea there is to keep the whole entire segment of people connected together so you can network, you can create accountability partners, so you have a community of entrepreneurs that you're doing this whole high level journey with. And if you go through the 5 Day Challenge online course, you'll get step by step on you get step by step instructions on the tech side of it, the sales side of it, all of it. It's only an hour long. The entire 5 Day Challenge course online, the actual in the membership it's only an hour long. So you can go through that entire thing very quickly, okay? Someone said, let me know what the offer is. So let me just go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, this is the offer. It's a 30-day trial that you get. Okay. So I'm waiting for more questions to come in here in the comments as we get started with Q&A. Give me 1 second. Okay. 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 Mark Contrell is asking, is there any reason you would talk me out of just going hard local and not niching down until like 200? I believe I can better serve and grow quicker by staying local. My niche for counties around me. That being said, my first and only client is 13 hours away. So it doesn't matter how far your clients are geographically, because this type of business in the digital landscape, you can provide services from the West Coast to the East Coast. It doesn't really matter as long as it's in similar time zones, you can do really well. Now, what I'm telling you is it's hard to get to 200 without a scale strategy. You can get to 25 using some of the launch strategies that I'm teaching, but when it comes to going from 25 and higher without a lot of, heavy hits on your churn or onboarding or whatever problems you may encounter, because remember, you're building a software company. It's not the same internal fulfillment process as an agency. And you'll come across issues like ticketing. When do you deal with ticketing inside an agency? You don't. Inside a software company, you can quite often deal with 100 to 200 tickets a day based on something you set up. So then your experiences change, right? Your fulfillment changes, the customer service changes. And that's why I think, excuse me, getting to the 25 client mark is a North Star that I recommend. And then from there, once you get to that point, reevaluate how you want to scale, where you want to scale, what kind of brand do you want to really build. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't go past all the way to 200 using the strategies. Of course you can if you're aggressive on sales. But I just think your customer experience that you provide for all your clients won't be as good as someone who's focused on an industry or a lane and they're going all out being the industry experts, right? So if you look at companies like Service Titan, right, Podium, these are the guys you're going to compete with eventually once you build that brand up, okay? Let's see. Susan says phone calls with prospects, then get credit and credit card on receipt, no invoices. So within high level, you can send invoices. So after you've closed the deal, collected payment, credit card or whatever, you can send them the invoice. So you could even send them the link to the invoice so they can just pay over the phone or whatever, or even on Zoom or a phone call, however you want to do the actual transaction. Okay. Okay. Patrick says, um, I'm from Montreal. It's French, so I'm sure the market will be pretty much available. In which case, what should be the best market fit niche in my case? With stats that you see in the market. So, Patrick, I don't know if I understand your question well. What do you mean by what would be the best market fit product? I think the core offer we shared during the 5 day challenge with GMB, web chat, reviews, and mobile app, that's the core pillar that you could use, go out there and compete with, compete in a very, very competitive way. Because that's matched up against things like Podium, Service Titan, high level, companies that go local. Okay. Someone says, what are some other SaaS offers we might transition into? Depends on what kind of market you're going after. I think with AI, there's going to be a lot more creative offers coming out. So social media planning, content creating, landing pages, blogging, newsletters. Newsletters, I think, are very underrated to just set up a newsletter for a business in a local area and charge them 300 bucks a month to handle the newsletter. And that allows you to provide a hybrid service where it's a little bit product led, a little bit talent led with your copywriting skills. So a little creative offers like that make sense. Okay. Liam says, well, if you're just selling this call text back locally, then surely you don't have to niche down. Right, you don't. The template will work for all niches. Yes, it would. So I would think that local businesses are fine to go after. Yes, 1000%. I want you to all go local. Don't do anything but local. But when you get to that 25 client mark, do a reevaluation and assessment of how do you want to build your brand, right? Who do you want to be in the local space, right? And that's the question that'll come up. And once you answer that question, you'll be able to scale much faster. In my opinion, there are people that scale to a couple of thousand sub accounts in a matter of like 2 months. Okay, so there is a madness to the mechanism. Okay, someone's asking, how many clients does your largest agency have and how long has it been open? Well, a lot of that information is private because we do have contracts in place, but some of the popular brands that are in the thousands and thousands are companies like Pipeline Pro, Funnel Gorgeous with Julie Chanel in them, um, Dear Doc, I believe. There's several companies that are well past 2,000 client mark, 4,000 client. I think Pipeline Pro is well over 7,000 or something like that. Uh, but all to tell you, they focus local or they focus on a certain lane to scale. Your launch strategy is different than your scale strategy. And I share this on our mastermind quite often and, give you advice. Let's see. Sergey says, how is the gateway price of 297 compared to other players in the market who already provide the service? Isn't it too high? Just curious. No, it's not too high. And we know from data that an average local business spends about 800 to $900 a month on technology, software, or tools. Okay, so that's the market share of spend that you're competing in. So 297 is pretty reasonable. And even if there are, remember this, we're not selling the gateway offer. Remember that. We're not selling gateway offer. Our whole sales offer is necessarily not missed call text back. Missed call text back is the Trojan horse gateway dangling carrot that we're showing in front of the prospect so we can sell them the core offer, right? The core offer is the main actual offer. gateway offers are dynamic. It changes, right? So remember the difference of core offer versus gateway offer. Your gateway offer changes all the time. You can test different things out. I'm just giving you an example of missed call to expect to get started, allows you to stay in the same theme of phone calls all the way through in the sales process and gets you moving, gets the prospect moving to the core offer. Okay. Patrick says real estate. So yeah, when it comes to real estate, I think there's four, five, six different lanes that you can choose, but I recommend choosing one or two. Now, the cool thing about real estate is that it is saturated. A lot of those provide the brokers and brands provide some sort of a CRM, so they understand the power of CRM. But typically, they don't utilize it well. They don't understand what sales process looks like or marketing looks like. So working with real estate agents is often complex because they have a lot of automation needs. It's not my favorite, but there's a lot of high levelers that go into real estate left and right. They do sales fulfillment quite often. Okay, so depending on what you do and how you do it, it's there's still an opportunity. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Mark is answering to Sergey's question in the thread here. Sergey asked, "How was the gateway price of 297 earlier?" And Mark made a good point. He said, "Hey, we paid $10,000 a year for Podium at my previous business, and Podium, compared to what we can achieve here is, night and day. So now you can achieve this for your clients, right? You can go to market and provide a really cool offer to your clients. Okay. One second. Let me check my connection here. Cool. I just refreshed my phone so I can see the comments. Okay. Okay. So Eduardo is saying once we start closing some sales, I am focused on having long-term clients. How can we build or outsource our support and onboarding to our clients in order to exceed their product and service expectations? How can we do it the best way? So, Eduardo, I think doing it in-house is the best way, right? At the end of the day, it's your business. No one's going to represent your business like, you know, uh but yourself like that. Nobody's going to represent your business like you would, regardless of what happens. So whether you outsource it or not, it doesn't matter. You have to have some sort of a control inside the fulfillment. Now, with that being said, if you're starting out or maybe at that 25 client mark and you're like, man, Paul, so I don't know if I can scale from here without hiring a team, there's always third party businesses around high levels. If you go to our certifications program and look at the directory. So, Ethan, if you get a chance and drop the directory link in the comments, I definitely appreciate it, my guy. But if you go to the directory, you could meet and find certified administrators of high level. And that's where I would start when it comes to outsourcing some of my fulfillment. And you'll see some really good talent. You have to kind of do your own interviews and figure that out. But either way, you can get to several hundred clients with one or two people. Okay. You can have two VAs and a closer, maybe, and yourself, like four total people. You can get to 500 plus clients. Okay. So that hopefully that gives you some ideas of how to look at long term. When it comes to third parties, there's plenty of third parties to choose from around high level. Post to the official Facebook community and you'll find some names there. Okay. Donald says, how do you find the balance between the numbers and the conditions? So we're talking about the story phase that we're talking about the phases of sales. So usually going from numbers, I don't go forward into conditions until they tell me what their current situation is with finances and they tell me what their desired situation is. So the way I lead with volume to revenue is like, hey, how many people are walking through the front door? What does that mean? How do you charge them? How did you, uh, figure out your products and services pricing. Okay, cool. So what you're telling me is 100 people walking through your front door, you charge $250 every single product, and you make $25,000 a week. Is that, and I'll ask them, is that where you want to be? Right? Then they will tell me, well, I wish I could be doing 50K or 100K. So now you know their desired situation. And then what you want to do is transition into, well, you want to say something like, we've had scenarios like this where a business is trying to go from XYZ to XYZ. And why don't we start with handling all your organic marketing and we start fielding your existing traffic that's coming in. So the existing traffic is only fielded on a phone call, typically for a small local business. So once you help them understand, let's, plug in all the leaky holes you have in your business by making sure we field every single one of your prospects that are coming into the business through phone calls. You are then figuring out whether there's a good market product fit. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of transitioning into conditions. Okay, because that says after we reach 25 customers using SaaS strategy to level up or grow, are we looking to upsell current customers, niche, and sell SaaS products or niche down, or start with SaaS products and then upsell them? So let's go back to this business model right here, right? Your expansion offers. You don't ever have to have an expansion offer when it comes to marketing services because we know that regardless what you do, marketing services, your expansion offers will have churn. Almost a 70% churn within the first 90 days is what we see on average for agencies, where SaaS has less than 5 to 7% churn. So it makes sense for you to spend your time to double up the amount of people in the book of business that are taking your core offer. And if you want to optionally have a couple of big clients, sure, have your expansion offer out there, but that's not something I recommend people scaling because you're scaling a leaky bucket, right? The game of agency is a leaky bucket game. It's a cash cow game of getting to 10K, 25K, 100K, 250K, 500K. But at the end of the day, most clients churn out within 90 days. So it just becomes whoever could do hyper volume of sales is the folks that can actually scale versus just doing good fulfillment by itself does not allow you to keep customers. We have that from data. So after you reach that 25 client mark, you want to build a high ticket offer around something that complements your core offer. So in my opinion, you could do custom, massive automations projects and charge $5,000, right? So you stay in the lane of technology and that you could control versus selling Facebook ads or Google ads. Hopefully that gives you some ideas. And every market is different. Okay. Right. So Susan Moore is asking a couple of thousand sub accounts in 2 months. Would love to know their plan of attack. Well, their plan of attack is they went into the market with the proven offer right out of the gate. So they use things like miscalled text back, reviews, GMB services. Like these are things that are already proven and people want it, right? So when you go that route, you can go to paid ads. So all those companies that scaled very rapidly, they all of them scaled through paid ads, either through themselves or affiliated paid ads. So they have an affiliate marketer that's working with them or a power partner that's working with them, and all partners together run paid ads. Okay. That's the way a lot of people have scaled so far. Jose says, are there any good offers for B2B companies? Yeah, you have to do a lot of research and talk to a couple of different, lanes. But when it comes to B2B, don't go too big where they're massive corporate brands. The sales cycles are too long. It's not worth it for the low ticket offers. Um, but there's plenty of B2P that needs sales support, that needs marketing services. So I definitely recommend B2B in the local space. Alex says, do you ever mail to customer service? Yeah. You could always send direct mail and things like that to enhance your customer service. People send up gifts and stuff like that, onboarding t-shirts and books and all of that. And there's always like a nice touch that you want to do to get them excited, okay? All right, so a ton of different questions. I think a few are repeated questions. Okay, go ahead and put down as many questions as you have. After my trip here at TNC, I'll go through and answer as many as I can and to kind of provide some feedback there. But without any further ado, don't forget that we have a 30-day trial option for those of you that are watching and you don't have a high level account. That's specifically for the 5-day challenge that you're watching right now, which is at gohighlevel.com/slash 5-day challenge offer. So go there, take advantage of it. We're giving away a ton of freebies. You get access to a private Facebook group as well. So we interact with you and help you build your business. So thanks for watching, everybody. Tomorrow we're going to talk about client fulfillment a little bit. And again, it's a themed Q&A. If you want all the content at once, watch Monday's content where I went through day 1 through 5, the entire challenge all together. So the rest of the days are Q&As. Okay. So either way, looking forward to seeing you inside the Facebook group and interacting there. Have a good rest of your afternoon. Everyone, take care, and we'll be